Okay, back.
But I must say again, credit is real important because especially if you're a young couple, you just got married,
Right.
just had a baby, just bought a house and all
Right.
that. I mean, those are the people I like to talk to because I say, look, let me show you what this system is because, I mean, just look at it like this, and I'm sure you can relate to this. I tell you the goalpost is here, and then we decide, hey, we're going to move the goalpost over here. But now, if you knew the information that the goalposts were here, you wouldn't care about that.
Right. Right.
So they move it whenever, and they just make new laws or however they do it. But my point is, if you knew that the goalpost is here, you're not going to go anywhere else because you got the knowledge that I should be right here.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, you go say, oh, okay, let's go over here and let's go over here. You know, I'm just saying, you know, so that's why I want to just spread the word about the credit system.
Yes, we actually have another caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah, I'm back again.
Oh.
Turn radio down. Okay, the Social Security card, you can't use it for ID. And why do we have to use our Social Security number for any kind of business not related to Social Security? That's first question. Second question, well, a statement. Years ago, a lady downstate Indiana sued the state of Indiana about using Social Security numbers on your driver's license. That's why it's not on your driver's license anymore.
Right.
And she won the case. So why should we have to give somebody our private number, whether it be for a job app or whatever? You may not get the job, but what I'm saying is it's not for identification purposes. It tells you that when you get the card. So why should we have to use it other than knowing who we are? That's exactly what they're doing, knowing who we are.
Well, I hear what he's saying. I can tell you on one part, and this is not, you know, being a professional creditor or anything like that, but the other side of the system, you know, the people that have the jobs, it's easier for them to use your Social Security number. And let's say there are 10 people. Let's say you're one of 10 people. And you're the guy that's going to say, no, you can't use my Social Security card. You can't use my number. Well, there's those other 9 people who want the job as bad as you do. And they're going to say, oh, he wants my Social Security number? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's fine.
But they need your permission to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but 9 of those people are
permission.
see the reason why you ask why are people doing it? Is because most people go along with it.
Yep.
Right,
yeah,
exactly. But it says it's not for identification purposes. It tells you that when you get the card. So, you know.
You're right. You're right.
But like I said, this lady sued the state of Indiana, and she won. That's the reason why we don't have a Social Security number like you used to on your driver's license.
Yes.
But you know what, though? And I can't remember all the details of it, but a long time ago, someone showed me this. The number that is on your driver's license, they can take your number and figure out your social.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I forget how the logarithm works, but this is when I was living in Nevada. Now, the thing is, of course, nowadays, with everything being so computerized, they probably don't need to be able to do that. Yeah. They can keep the database of your driver's license number, you know, and work with that. But, you know, again, the whole point is like you said, they want to be able to know who you
They want to know who you are. They want to know who you are.
And make sure that you are you.
And you're going to a bank asking for money, they definitely want to know who you are.
I think for sure. I think the gentleman has one more question.
One more thing. Okay, but go back to the license plates. You know, years ago, you had 45P, 45H, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Those letters told exactly where you were from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all the Gary plates was 45P, 45H, 45G, stuff like that. They knew exactly if you were from Gary. 45Z was Hobart. 45 something else was East Chicago. 45 something else was... So they had all kinds of ways to keep up.
I remember that. Right. Thank you for your call.
All right, later.
All right. But yeah, basically, we live in a society run by the bosses. So, you know, if they want you to give up your Social Security number to get the job, then they pretty much got you.
But if you just think about it, anything you do here in America, jobs, credit, anything, they have to have your social security number.
Yep.
Because
that's
they
how
want to
got the
know
system,
who
yeah.
you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, did you steal the candy bar when you were 17 years old? They want to know that.
Yeah.
You know, to say, okay, we got trust issues.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's what the job, you know, when they figure looking at the applications, they're
Right.
saying, okay, well, this guy, you know, did he pay restitution? You know.
Well, I guess, you know,
So it's a trust kind of thing,
yeah,
really.
I guess one of the things that, and I know we're starting to get off into the weeds here now, you know, I'm sure they would be glad to trade your social security number for a microchip
Well,
or, you know, something like that. They'd
I
be
mean,
like,
the
yeah.
way it's going now, you just don't know.
yeah, you just don't know.
You just don't know.
Oh,
You just got to be careful.
right. Here's a question I did want to know. What is a good credit score? Like, how do you know if you have a good credit score when you see it?
800 is the top score,
Mhm.
and then 3 would be the
Like,
bottom.
okay. Yeah.
But let me just tell you what happened to me. And I don't know. I needed a car, and my car went out on me. So I told my best. I said, "Man, come on, let's just go and get." Because I'm a Buick guy. Let me put that out there. And so we went out to this car dealership, and the guy says, "So I was going to go to my credit union and say." He was like, "Look, we can finance the car and all that." I said, "Man, I'm already here." And that's what the guy was like. I said, "Yeah, I'm already here. I need the car today." I mean, and it was Friday afternoon. He's talking about, you know, how long that paperwork would take, you know. So I said, "Okay, man." So he punched the button, and what he did was he was looking for the banks. He was looking for, let's say 8 banks. He was looking for the lowest interest rate that he could give. He said, "Oh man, look, I got a bank that's got 12% interest instead of 18. You know, would you like that?" You'd be like, "Yeah,
sure,
I'll take that." But what they don't tell you is, like I said, when he punched that button, he punched like 8 banks. Okay, so they're called inquiries,
right?
and all 8 inquiries hit my credit report,
Of course,
as a hard inquiry.
right?
So that means that my score dropped because of that. So if I would have went to the bank and was going to get a house or something like that, they would say, "Well, hey, on April 3rd, you know, you was really trying to get credit." No, the guy punched the button, and the banks did that at one time. But you can't tell the banker that, because he's not going to believe that. He's thinking, okay, he's scrapping for money. He's looking for it. So he hit all these things at one time. But they don't tell you that.
Right.
Now, so I'm thinking it was one bank. You know, and that's how the normal consumer thinks. It's just one bank, but this was 8. And when I looked at my credit report, I was like, "Oh man!" I mean, I was so upset at myself for allowing that.
Right.
Even if you tell the car salesman, you said, "Well, how many inquiries are going to hit my credit report?" He couldn't tell you,
right?
Because he has nothing to do with that. He just pushes the button, and the banks come up and say, "This is our interest rate for whatever information you have given."
Now, tell me this. As a matter of fact, because I have a home here in Gary, and you know, someone's trying to call me to get me to refinance my home.
Okay.
And so they said that, well, you know, we're gonna pull your credit. I was like, well, you know, I'm not trying to have a bunch of credit pulls, you know, because I do know that getting hard credit pulls hits your credit score.
It lowers your score.
And then he says to me, well, you know, they got the way the system is now that if you're doing, if you know, you're allowed to shop for a mortgage. And so if you go to 2 or 3 mortgage places at the same time frame, it doesn't have as much of a negative impact. Was he telling me the truth?
But he still cannot do nothing unless you give him your social security number.
But I'm saying, was he telling me the truth with that statement? Or was he just trying to get into my pocket?
I was trying to get into your pocket.
I started to say something else, you know.
That's that little thing in your head, like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. You know what I'm saying? Hesitating you hesitate because of it.
Okay, so if I had, let's just say I'm somebody with mediocre credit. This is totally hypothetical. How can I improve my credit score? Like, what could I do? Is there any steps that I could take, or classes or something, or what?
No, just pay your bills. Just pay your bills.
So that's step one.
I mean, because the more you pay your bills, the higher your score gets.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The less you pay your bills, the lower your score.
So can it wipe out like my past? You know.
Sometimes they do it, but it's up to the
indiscretions?
bureaus though.
Okay.
It's up to the bureaus because they'll just all of a sudden you'll see like 5 of your bad accounts off your credit report because
Really?
it's too old.
Right.
Yeah, it's too
Oh,
old.
that's beautiful. Oh, let's talk about that some more.
Yeah.
Now, a little bit of a confession moment here.
Mm.
There was a time when I was also a collector.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
I worked for a company. They were one of those companies that would buy debt.
Oh, you're talking about the agencies.
They would this
Yeah, they buy a
particular
penny
company.
on the dollar.
Yeah, this company would buy all these accounts.
Right.
You know, and
Just
some of
say,
them were
"Have
good
at it."
accounts. Yeah, some of them were good accounts. Some of them were terrible accounts.
Right.
And then we'd get to calling these people. And I remember looking at one account, and this person had bought a car 10 years ago. And they didn't pay the car off. That's all I knew. I made a phone call. I called the person up. They lived in Ohio. Bless their heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ohio has a statute of limitations of 15 years.
Okay. And each state has their own law.
Yeah.
By the way.
Now, there's a reason, for example, why people love living in Texas. Because their statute of limitations is only 2 years.
Right.
So if you have a debt here in Indiana, it's 4 year statute of limitations.
Okay.
Let's say if you've got a debt that's 4 years old, 5 years old,
Okay.
and then that creditor guy, that collection guy calls, says, "Hey, you got this you got this bill. And if you pay this bill off, this will
You'll be all right.
You'll be good. Yeah, you'll be better because you paid this thing off."
Okay.
Now,
Want me to talk about that?
yeah.
Oh, hold on a
What
second.
happens when you agree to pay that bill?
Hold on, caller.
That 5-year-old bill.
Right.
Hold on, caller.
I got you.
Oh, okay. Hello, caller.
Hey, Scott, it's Sam Love.
It's Sam. Sam Love, the great Sam Love. Give us a few minutes to wrap up with Mr. Bowman, and I'll pitch you straight in. Okay.
All right, no rush.
Yes. Sam Love there's a pot sale.
He's coming up next.
Yes, he's coming up next. There's a pot sale going on here in the city of Gary, and we're talking about urban farming, which is something I've always been very excited about. So, yeah, but go ahead.
Well, you're talking about the collection agency.
Yes. What role do they play in this whole credit stew?
Okay, once let's say the hospital bill, you don't pay your hospital bill, they give you 90 days to pay this bill.
Right.
And they say, hey, if you don't pay this bill, we're gonna have to do further collections. And that's what they're talking about. They'll send it to an agency.
Ooh.
So this
goes on your credit report, right?
It does.
Yep. And your credit score goes down.
And your credit score goes
right.
down.
So now the collection guy calls.
But it's like one big circle.
Uh-huh.
Like what you were talking about. They'll sell 1,000 accounts penny on the dollar.
Uh-huh.
And if he gets 3 or 4 of them, to him, that's a good day.
Right.
Because these accounts are real old.
Right.
So let me just quickly tell you a few things about that. Let's say now they cannot call you before 8 o'clock in the morning and 9 p.m. at night.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If they call you 7:59, you got a case.
Mm-hmm.
If they call you 9:01 asking about a bill, you got a case.
Right.
Oh.
So you say, well, Mark, who do I call? I mean, where do I go?
Right.
You told me the information, but how do I get results? Good question you asked, Mark.
Right. We got one more caller. This is the last caller for Mr. Mark Bowman from MMK Credit Counseling. Hello, caller.
Oh, okay. Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to know, what do you do when you file bankruptcy? How do you try to rebuild your credit?
Good point.
Oh,
That's a good question.
Big BK.
Okay.
And your name is not Donald Trump.
Now, it depends on what chapter you file. If you file chapter 7, that's liquidation. They wipe it out, done deal. Chapter 13 is they'll redo it. Like say you might have a car or a house. Let's say something happened and you just couldn't pay it, and so you need to go bankruptcy to redo yourself. So they would, it's called like a 341 meeting. You would have to go downtown, and they had to explain, are your debts here, and then the creditors get to come in too if they want to. Sometimes they don't even bother about
Okay.
it. But and then the judge will make a decision, say, okay, this is what we think you can afford after you get them all the money, you know, your check stubs and things like that. And so he would just make.
So once you've paid this, or if it's Chapter 7, of course, like you said, then that wipes it
it
off.
wipes out everything.
But,
and now you don't have nothing secured.
Yeah.
Nothing secured is with Chapter 7. So that's like credit cards, old debts or something. Nothing that's attached to anything. That's what Chapter 7 is. And then if you living in the home, you want to stay in the home and all that, then they'll redo that. So and then you have to go through the judge.
I mean, once you file that, your credit is shot. So how do you rebuild?
But have you noticed? Let's say that it happens, it's done.
Yeah.
And then you'll have somebody start calling you, want to give you credit.
Well,
I see that all the time.
Right.
Somebody will call you and say, "Hey, well, I just filed bankruptcy." Yeah, but we can work it out and we can give you this and give you that. You need money, right?
Yeah.
So is that a good thing?
Well, at that time, I would say, yeah. I mean, you wanting money, you trying to build yourself back up.
Right. So
that's how you reestablish your credit.
Ah.
You pay that, even though the bankruptcy is there, you still paying your bills on time.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's good for you.